what's going on YouTube? Anaris here with another exciting StarCraft 2 broadcast. Today we're going to be watching a 1 versus 1 between FXOJKS, the red Zerg spawning down in the 6 o'clock position, facing off against his blue Terran opponent, whose name I am unfortunately not able to read or pronounce, but I will say we'll have a little fun with it. We'll call him the Astute Ham. The Astute Ham is going to be the Zerg's opponent today, spawning cross-spawn. And let me just say for the record, cross-spawn TVZs oftentimes leads to epic games. And looking at the length of the match, I'm sure we're in for a treat. So, yeah, man, I'm really super happy to bring this game to you. It actually comes highly recommended from a couple different fans. I want to thank you very much for that. And also, I feel I owe you guys an explanation. Some of you noticed in the last video that I did make a commitment to try to cast more in the past couple days. Unfortunately, I was not able to. Basically, what happened is I ended up actually chipping a molar, which really hurts, by the way. Finally, the pain has subsided. I'm going to get that taken care of soon here. But in the meantime, basically, Excedrin and I, we're really good friends now. And so we're good enough friends to where, you know, I made this deal where he's going to cut down on the pain. I'm going to be able to cast, and it's a win-win for everyone, man. So for now, let's just talk about the game. Anyways, I just wanted to explain that real quick so that way you guys knew what was going on. I promise I'm not bailing on you guys or, you know, devoting all my time to the second channel. For proof, I didn't do videos over there for like 2 days either. So there's also that. All right, so now that we've cleared that up, let's talk about the game here. Terran opening up, 1 Rax gas. Notice how he's coming up here, scouting the geyser. He sees this. He knows most likely going to be playing up against a very typical TVZ opener, which is Hellions transitioning into whatever else the Terran wants to go to. Oftentimes, Marine siege tank. And look down here, he decided to go ahead and drop his hatch first. Again, this is pretty much just in response to his scouting. Now, he did send the drone down there first, so I think he was already planning on going ahead with this build, but the fact that he is going to be facing up against this Hellion play, he's going to be able to likely get enough defense in time to deal with that Hellion harassment. But notice down here, he did drop, or the Terran player did drop a second depot, effectively blocking this drone in, sentencing him to death. Now, JKS opted for the next best thing, which was to deny the second gas, delay the scouting of Marine, and also give himself a little bit of scouting up here in the main base by placing this extractor, all for the low price of 1 drone and 25 minerals. Can't beat that, man. So 2 Marines actually heading down there, going to be scouting out their opponent. Let's see, does he know where his opponent's at? No, he does not, but you see that he is actually coming over here right now, probably because of the timing of the scouting. Might be a safe assumption that he decided to come up here. I mean, really, with the new version of this map, his opponent won't be there. And the fact that the Overlord came over here first means that the Zerg scouted there. And so the drone coming up here is kind of a clear indication that the Skirg was in the 6 o'clock position. So deductive reasoning leads us to believe that Terran, in fact, knew where his opponent was at that point. So JKS is going to be losing actually an Overlord here. This is actually really bad for JKS because, you see, now he's supply blocked. 26 over 20. He hadn't built an Overlord yet. There wasn't one already in production because he was already, you know, about 6 under. And now those Zerglings actually coming over and getting the Marines a line of escape. Pretty interesting attack maneuver there. But anyways, now that he's had to build this Overlord early, it's really going to cut into his Zergling and drone production. Fortunately for JKS, he does have his 2 Queens already out on the field. So that is going to be working for him. And we see here, he is still working with 1 drone on gas, just building it up very slowly as he is working on that metabolic boost upgrade. Terran coming out with his first 2 Hellions. Now, he did catch that Zergling. What Zerg was trying to do is trying to pull his Zergling away from the watchtower before the Terran could spot it. So that way, when the Terran moved back down, he could move the Zergling back into position. But the Terran knows one of the really key things you have to do against a Zerg in the early game, deny as much scouting as possible. Reclaim the watchtowers. Hellions excel at doing that against Zerglings. Take out the Overlords, as we just saw the Marines do, and now work on denying the economy. And we do already have 1 drone getting taken out. Oh, that drone just popped at the worst time possible, man. He does get roasted almost instantly. Doesn't even get to mine a patch of minerals. Poor guy. That's all he wants to do in life, and unfortunately he was denied. As our Terran player just manages to roast a whole bunch of Zerglings, we see him continuing to move out. The drone's moving back into position. Right time to do it. This Queen is very low on health. The Zerg does not have any attacking units. Oh, we see 3 drones going down right there. 5 more getting killed as they just line up. Man, what a productive run here for our Terran players so far. We look at the workers now, 26 to 27. Terran has actually caught up, despite the fact that his expansion just finished, and we see one Zergling actually working on picking off some forces there. The Queen actually getting taken out. That is another massive blow to our Zerg player. He only has one Queen right now. He's going to have to build a second one. Yep, there we go. Those Hellions are finally being forced to retreat. One of them actually might go down. Yep, it looks like he will. This other one could go down as well. No, he's running circles around his friend. His friend does the damage. Oh, very nice micro indeed by our Terran player. This Extractor is still hanging out here. The Hellions continuing to be pursued by Zerglings. And you see the Zerg actually doesn't have very good map control at all right now. He essentially just has a couple overlords over these expansions. He's going to be trying to move them in position eventually to, you know, come over here and probably sacrifice this closest one and keep this one in position. It looks like just to watch for any sort of unit movement over in that position. But now JKS is going to have to rebuild from a really bad position. The fact that he lost that Overlord, combined with the Queen, combined with the 10 drones, just made that snowball into a massive, massive loss in the early game for a Zerg player. Now let's look at the Terran. Let's see how he's responding. He knows that he is ahead at this point. He went ahead and expanded while this was going on, dropped a second geyser over here, not even worrying about this Extractor. There's no reason to at this point. He's got these two fully functional. So when he moves down now, he's pretty much just going to be in a great position to do whatever he wants. If he just wants to do passive expansion denial, denying scouting, come over and, you know, pretty much just keep his siege tanks right here and fire from afar and, you know, provide cover for Marines. He can do any number of things. For now, it looks like he's actually moving up and going to be very aggressive. Actually, really aggressive. He's going to be coming over here and not even letting the siege tanks do that damage on the spine crawler. Very, very interesting choice there, but his Marines are nice and spread out. He is anticipating a counterattack, which looks like it's coming right now. Zergling is just running past the siege tanks and Marines entirely. Drones coming off the line as well. Very nice response from FXOJKS, forcing the Terran to retreat. Now, while that was going on, notice that another command center is currently being built. Terran wants to take his third, which at this point, he knows that the Zerg really isn't in a great position to do anything about it. We see Zerglings actually coming out trying to cut off reinforcements. Very smart move by JKS. He was able to get out a free siege tank, kill several Marines as well, and he's going in to surround the Marine for the last kill. We look back up at the Terran base, and we see that it is fairly heavily defended. There's really not going to be a lot that the Zerg player can do about this. So with Terran looking to secure his third, notice how JKS does have a Overlord very nicely positioned. He'll be able to move this over to the top and keep it alive. But now he does know this expansion is on the way. Now look at what he has up here. Pay attention to what he's done. In the meantime, while that attack was going on, notice how he has upgraded Carapace level 1. It's going to help those Zerglings withstand the fire from the siege tanks and the Marines alike, but also he decided to go ahead and get out this macro hatchery. Now, a lot of times you'll see this hatchery come around the third base, around there, when you can support those mid-tier units in mass production, like Mutalisk, etc. But for now, he is in such a weird position that he needs to just work on getting his drones up. He's got 8 on the way right now. He needs to get some Zerglings as well, and that extra production is really going to give him that much-needed boost. Baneling speed is on the way. We see our Zerg player is doing a good job spreading the creep and also working on taking out his high yield. That's actually something that's kind of curious here. I'm a little intrigued about how the Terran is not working on that set of destructible rocks. Taking this third base up here, I think this is a very safe bet, especially since the fact that he's able to defend it up here after having lost so much of his forces earlier, or so many of his forces earlier, rather, that this seems like the best decision at this point. But still, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw those rocks go down here in the very near future. As once the Terran realizes, okay, the Zerg has pretty much just been forced to drone some more, and then drone some more after that, he might be likely to, you know, go ahead and take this. But we will wait and see. Now, as for our Zerg player, you see this expansion, I would dare say, is oversaturated, yes. I believe that some of those drones could definitely stand to come up here when this expansion is good to go, and I believe that is the exact plan right now. Now notice how he's also looking to go ahead, going for a double expansion. Pretty risky move, but at the same time, again, he does have the infrastructure currently to support that type of heavy drone production to build up his economy really quickly. Now, speaking of building up here, we see the Terran actually moving his forces out, hoping to deny any sort of expansion style play, but really JKS is doing what he should be doing, but it's not really that effective. And again, it's because of the fact that he's so far behind. He's had to commit so much to getting his minerals up, going for this risky style of double expansion play, and committing all these drones and Zerglings. It's really going to hurt his ability to harass in the mid-game. Terran knows this, so notice how he's going just a beeline for this expansion. He really was anticipating the Zerg taking this because it would be, again, a high-risk maneuver, but it's something that the Zerg player, you know, Terran might have felt that he needed to do. But what we have now is the Terran assuming a little bit more of a defensive position now. I like this a lot. We see that he actually moves in and nails several Baneling kills and also a Queen. Once again, this expansion is just not safe for Queen usage, man. Let me tell you, I don't think it's rated for safe Queen usage at all. Oh my god, look at the amount of Marines that were just taken out by those Banelings. This was a beautiful defense by JKS as he holds the line. Once more, we look at the units lost tab and see it's still relatively close, 4,100 to 4,650. As far as workers killed at this stage, 0 to 13. As we look at the income, we see it's almost dead even, 73 to 72. And we look at the money spent right now. See, a lot more has been spent for the Terran player. Zerg, again, has been trying to focus so hard on getting his economy going that we go back to the production tab and see he's still working on those drones. 8 currently in production, mixed in with a few Zerglings and also an evolution chamber and a whole bunch of other upgrades as well. Watch JKS as he heads out towards our Terran base. We see that it, well, it does have a couple weak points right now, and the meta's actually getting ready to discover that. Oh, delaying the Thor and mechanical unit upgrades. That's always a very smart move, as JKS actually looks to deny that supply depot construction as well. Look at our Terran player right now. He is floating almost 1,000 minerals, currently supply blocked. He very much needed that supply depot to be completed. Fortunately for him, he will be able to get this one up. Oh, will he be able to in the nick of time? So very close. Yes, he does get that operational. And now the mutas are forced to head away. We look back at this expansion, we see that it is starting to get saturated. This one's looking pretty darn good as well. And we'll actually go to compare the units for just a brief moment. 50 Marines, 5 siege tanks. This is a very strong army right now, and it's exactly what our Terran player needs. You know, he's just still working on saturating the mineral lines. He's got a lot of reactors. He's able to build so many Marines at once, but he's also starting to increase Thor production a little bit. So what he can do is, you know, if he just goes ahead and includes a couple of those with his army, the mutas just will not even be a minor issue. The Marines and Thors combined will just annihilate them. And of course, another nice thing about the Thors and the siege tanks is they can absorb a lot of damage from the Banelings, the Zerglings alike. So as our Terran player moves out, it looks like he's going to be establishing himself a good defensive position in the middle of the map. Likely going to have a scan here very soon. Sure enough, there we go. He knows with all this creep lying around, it's just free range target time as he moves in. Once again, checking the high yield expansion. He's probably wondering, why isn't this up yet? Well, the fact that our Zerg player is feeling as ballsy as he is right now, moving out with those mutas harassing the bases, means that he probably has a third base somewhere. I mean, he has to by now, possibly a fourth. So notice how he is just moving ahead, scouting out. And as we have the Zerg player moving to try to attack, this could actually not end very well. Oh my god, look at those Banelings getting just obliterated by that siege tank. You see 5 kills on that. I think all 5 kills from that siege tank was just from that one shot, knocking out all those Banelings. So JKS really committing to a defense when the Terran was in such a strong position terrain-wise, backfired on him in a big way. We look at the units tab right now and see 16 mutas, 8 Banelings, 27 Zerglings, not nearly enough to mount a successful defense. We see that a lot of those mutas were taken out. These Thors will be destroyed as well. But at what cost, man? This Terran is just going through, having a field day with this expansion with just enough coverage and support over here to make sure no Zerg army gets up the ramp and allowing the Marines to move forward and finish off the hatchery. So far, the income now 80 to 92. Our Terran player almost has 100 SCVs. My word, that is just a ton of income right now. You could see, but look at actually how many are mining at this point. He's running off of 3 bases, so he is way oversaturated. So the income potential is high, but again, those Banelings only half committing, not quite reaching their targets. I think he realized that, you know what, man, I'm just not going to be able to get in there before those Marines are able to be microed. But notice that look at the medevac energy at this stage. So I think the fact that, oh, my voice definitely just cracked there. I think the fact that he's kind of hanging back and choosing now as a time to attack the rocks is a very wise move. He needs to let this energy rebuild. He needs to get, actually, one thing that he could do at this point is if he wanted to just play a little bit more passively, which I think at this, I'll explain why he's not in just a second, but just purely from looking at the unit comp point of view. Now would be a good time to use a couple of medevacs and go do some drops when they don't have a lot of energy. But the reason he's not doing that is because he knows that at this stage in the game, Zerg has been continuing to dedicate so much to his income, and having recently lost a huge amount of his army, he's not going to really need to worry about that energy. He knows that the Zerg isn't really going to be able to mount a successful counterattack, and so he is just going to be free to take over the map as he sees fit. Notice how he just nailed all of those hiding units back there down in the trees and the bushes. And having taken this expansion, we realize that JKS is once again dropping another one down here, as well as a high yield. So very, very risky attack. Oh, look, a risky structure placement right here because, oh man, the Terran, he knows. The Zerg player knows that Terran is just moving out in full force. But again, Terran realizes he doesn't want to risk a direct confrontation, at least until a little tiny bit of energy builds up on those medevacs. Because the problem is when those medevacs get out of energy and the Terran gets drawn into a prolonged engagement, such as committing to attack down here at the natural, it really puts them in a bad position. But now here we go. Now with the Stim Marines, the Banelings trying to attack those Marines while they're on the creep. They lose a lot of speed when they come up there to the north. Terran realizes that as soon as he gets off the creep there, he just starts going back and drives away the Zerg force. Oh my god, look at that fungal. That was beautiful. Unfortunately for the Zerg, all of those medevacs will be able to heal him. Just wasn't quite ready, but that actually denied a lot of stim for those Marines. You see, just barely able to hold their own. Greater Spire is on the way, as well as 16 additional drones, 16 Zerglings as well. We look at the income, 102 SCVs. Good lord, man, when do you stop? It's 105, 6. Oh my word! I can't think of many games where I've seen that large of a workforce. It is just a workers' party right now in this game. So for now, we do have FXOJKS moving out to the midfield with his, I want to call it small force. It's not really that small. I mean, I would call it potent for its size. It definitely has the ability to lay down some serious fungalage. And we do have a medevacs running around here as well. Not actually with any Marine escort. And the Zerg's just like, yep, I think I'll take 3 of those, 2 of those. And oh my god, the Marines are loaded up in this one as well. Oh no, what is going on in the meantime? Let's look actually down here. We do have 2 drops taking place. One in the high yield, one at the third base. Oh man. What a very interesting turn of events this past couple seconds. Losing a lot of medevacs, but at the same time, doing these drops, which altogether have, I would say, net some pretty decent work kills. Oh, 110 workers right now. I mean, why not just keep going, right? So we do have actually, let's go to the APM just for the lulls. 177 to 134. Look at the workers killed, 3 to 58. 58 workers killed so far in this stage of the game. As we do approach the 30-minute mark, we look at our Terran player. We see he is in a very strong position right now. 2-2 upgrades, fresh medevac support. The Mutalisks actually trying to do any damage that they can to the Terran economy. But, I mean, really, look at the income. Look at it. 110 workers. I mean, really. Need I say more? Oh, my God! Baneling galore, folks. That was beautiful. I'm glad I came over to that when I did. That brought a tear to my eye. So many Banelings. Oh. Starcraft 2 is an awesome game. I just want to state that for the record. So, yeah, back up here in the Terran base, we see now he is working on double upgrades. And I mean, frankly, he is just in a phenomenal position. We see here that he is going to be dropping the Zerg player who, once again, has... well, admittedly, a very well-saturated high-yield expansion. We actually look at the income, but look at 3,200 minerals. Terran is able to rebuild. See, what he's going for right now is he's going not for the small strike force style play, but the medium army that can be replenished very quickly. And he's also floating, 3K minerals and gas, which I will say is actually very impressive. Not so much the fact that he's been able to accumulate so much money, that in itself is good, but the fact that it's so evenly distributed at this stage in the game is quite impressive indeed. Double drops getting ready to come over here at the high yield expansion, just beside all of these infestors, as we see our Terran player moving in from the north as well. These two dropships just kind of hanging out, doing what medevacs do. Good transfuse. They're finally able to finish off those Vikings. So we look at the income now, 51 to 102. We see that Zerg still has this expansion up here. And with Broodlord's support, he may be able to turn the tide a little bit. The problem is he just doesn't have the foot soldiers. He doesn't have the beef that he needs to take on this army, as it's just getting replenished so quickly. Look at all these infestors running into this. Oh my god, they're not casting anything. Zerg, what are you doing? Oh, it finally cast some fungal growth. Finally. The Broodlords should be able to mop up this army. I mean, again, it's very low on hit points. You see this expansion now fully saturated. As our Terran player looks to move in towards this expansion, what he's doing now is he's going for the small strike force thing. He's abusing the Zerg's immobility. The fact that the Zerg has these Broodlords, and he's having to guard them with his Corruptors, Queen as well. Zerg just cannot respond quick enough. He just can't. And now we look at his income right now and see it is just trash. There's the GG, bringing one hell of a game to an epic conclusion. So that is going to be it, folks. I do hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. That helps me out a ton. You'll find a link just above this video. It's a plus symbol, and subscribe. So I'm going to try to bring you more games here in the coming days as health permits. But, I mean, really, it's not that big of a deal. It just hurts like all hell. Anyways, let's go in and play some more StarCraft. Oh, one thing here. Reminder. Saturday, which is actually today, at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That would be 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be doing fan games on the North American server. Now, I know I mentioned European fan games as well. That will be coming. We're going to start that next week. Next week, it will be at, well, I think noon my time. I'll have to double check that. I think noon my time is like 8 o'clock. Ish over there for you guys, at least in England, but I'll have to double check that. Anyways, back to this. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Fan games. I will be in Channel Anaris. Okay, Channel Anaris. Be there. I will see. I make no promises. I may be able to get Husky as well. I'll see what he's doing. He may be busy with NASL stuff. I don't know, but either way, I will see you on BattleNet and then the next video.